Traditional Japanese theater includes Kabuki, No and the puppet theater, Bunraku. Traditional form of theater No and Kyujin The early existing Kyujin scripts date from the 14th century. Kyujin was used as an intermission between No actsa It linked the theme of the No play with the modern world by means of farce and slapstick. No played to the high-level class, but there were occasions where No was performed for common audiences. Unlike No, the performers of Kyujin do not wear masks, unless their role calls for physical transformation. Both men and women were allowed to perform Kyujin until 1450. Kabuki The best-known form of Japanese theater is Kabuki. It combines music, drama, and dance. It was performed by okunis. Perhaps its fame comes from the wild costumes and sword fights, which used real swords until the 1680s. Kabuki grew out of opposition to No. They wanted to shock the audience with more lively and timely stories. The first performance was in 1603. Like No, however, over time Kabuki became not performing in a new way, but a stylized art to be performed only a certain way. As a matter of interest, the popular Gekkodan Shinkansen, a theatrical troupe based in Tokyo today, insists it follows pure Kabuki tradition by performing historical roles in a modern, noisy, and outlandish way to shock the audience as Kabuki intended, if you will. Whether or not they are Kabuki, however, remains a matter of debate and personal opinion. Bunraku Puppets and Bunraku were used in Japanese theater as early as the No plays. Medieval records prove the use of puppets actually in No plays. The puppets were 3 to 4 foot tall dolls manipulated by puppeteers in full view of the audience. The puppeteers controlling the legs and hands are dressed entirely in black, while the head puppeteer is wearing colorful clothing. Music and chanting is a popular convention of Bunraku, and the shamisen player is usually considered to be the leader of the production. Modern theater, Japanese modern drama in the early 20th century, the 1900s, consisted of shinjeki, which employed naturalistic acting and contemporary themes in contrast to the stylized conventions of Kabuki and No. Hagetsu Shimomura and Kaoru Osanai were two figures influential in the development of shinjeki. In the post-war period, there was a phenomenal growth in creative new dramatic works, which introduced fresh aesthetic concepts that revolutionized the orthodox modern theater. Challenging the realistic, psychological drama focused on tragic historical progress of the Western-derived shinjeki, young playwrights broke with such accepted tenets as conventional stage space, placing their action in tents, streets, and open areas and, at the extreme, in scenes played out all over Tokyo. Plots became increasingly complex, with play within a play sequences, moving rapidly back and forth in time, and intermingling reality with fantasy. Dramatic structure was fragmented, with the focus on the performer, who often used a variety of masks to reflect different personae. Playwrights returned to common stage devices perfected in No and Kabuki to project their ideas, such as employing a narrator, who could also use English for international audiences. Major playwrights in the 1980s were Karajuro, Shimizu Kunio, and Betsuya Minara, all closely connected to specific companies. In contrast, the fiercely independent Mirai Shimako won awards throughout the world for her numerous works focusing on the Hiroshima bombing, which were frequently performed by only 1 or 2 actresses. In the 1980s, stagecraft was refined into a more sophisticated, complex format than in the earlier post-war experiments but lacked their bold critical spirit. Tadashi Suzuki developed a unique method of performer training which integrated avant-garde concepts with classical No and Kabuki devices, an approach that became a major creative force in Japanese and international theater in the 1980s. Another highly original East-West fusion occurred in the inspired production Nastasia, taken from Dostoevsky's The Idiot, in which Bando Tomasaburo, a famed Kabuki onagator, played the roles of both the prince and his fiancée copyrightee. Shōgekijo The 1980s also encouraged the creation of the Shōgekijo, literally little theater. This usually meant amateur theatrical troupes making plays designed to be seen by anyone and everyone, not necessarily as meaningful in nature as they were simply entertaining. Some of the more philosophical playwrights and directors of that time are Noda Hideki and Shoji Kakami. Popular Sho Gekijo theatrical troupes include Nylon 100, Gekkodan Shinkansen, Tokyo Sunshine Boys, and Halholo Shangri-La. Recently, new generation of Sho Gekijo artists who are labeled as the generation of the lost decade, or the generation of 2000s are emerging. Principal artists among this generation are Toshiki Okada, Shirow Maeda, Kuro Tanino, Daisuke Miura, Tomohiro Maekawa and so on. Western plays in Japan. Many Western plays, from those of the ancient Greek theatre to William Shakespeare and from those of Fyodor Dostoevsky to Samuel Beckett, are performed in Tokyo. A large number of performances, perhaps as many as 3,000, are given each year, making Tokyo one of the world's leading theatrical centers. The opening of the replica of the Globe Theatre was celebrated by importing an entire British company to perform all of Shakespeare's historical plays, while other Tokyo theatres produced other Shakespearean plays including various new interpretations of Hamlet and King Lear. The Globe Theatre, located in Shinno-Ikubo in Tokyo, now belongs mostly to Johnny's Entertainment and the promotion of pop idols in the acting field. Yukio Ninagawa is an internationally known Japanese director and playwright who often turns to elements of Shakespeare for inspiration. In 1995 he performed the Shakespeare Tempo 12 Nen, an interpretation of the wildly popular British theatre Shakespeare Condensed, all of Shakespeare's plays in 2 hours. Famous actors such as Natsuki Mari and Karawa Toshiaki were involved. See also, Culture of Japan, Japan, Shinpa, Takarazuka Review. References. This article incorporates public domain material from websites or documents of the Library of Congress Country Studies. Japan. External links, Japan Cultural Profile, National Cultural Portal for Japan created by Visiting Arts Japan Foundation.